Hola! Pigeons. Ba, 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 ba. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Today, I have my R1 throttle tube installed. And it's freaking awesome! You know why it's freaking awesome? Because it makes the bike feel about 1,000,000 times more powerful. Even though it isn't, and it's still only a little 600. Basically, it increases the diameter of the twisty bit, and therefore means you don't have to pull the throttle back as far to get full lock, which is really quite superb. That's just one part of today's video. So for the most part, I just kind of want to talk about... Oh wow, you're a brilliant rider. For the most part, I just kind of want to talk about the A2 license, or the way that in the UK people go about getting their full motorcycle license now. Reason being, I've got a couple of friends that are on it at the moment. One of my friends just passed his test today. Not today, Wednesday. One of my friends passed his test Wednesday, and now he's been put on the A2 license, which is, you know, it's understandable. So I'm going to give you basically a quick rundown of what the licensing is now, what I think the good points and the bad points are, and why. Oh, come on, love. I wanted to pass my test, and I was 16. I have to do this thing called a CBT, compulsory basic training, which basically gives you, apparently, gives you the skills that you need in order to be on the road. I personally don't think it does. I think it's a load of crap. It doesn't give you any... Oh, great. Dead fly on my visor that's now smudged. Yeah, it gives you the kind of like the bog standard, this is what you need to not die, but realistically it doesn't even give you that. Some people argue it does, some people argue it doesn't. Anyway, I see tons and tons and tons of these e-petitions online saying, oh, raise the CBT, you know, so that we can ride a 250. No, do not do that. That is a stupid idea. So, passing my CBT at 16, I can ride a 50cc moped. I think it's limited to like 28 mile an hour or something like that, says the highway code. I can ride a 50cc moped. And then as soon as I turn 17, I can ride a 125, which I think is ample for someone that's not been on the road long. At 17, I can then also choose to do my full motorcycle test. If I pass my full motorcycle test when I'm 17, I cannot ride larger than a 125cc bike. As soon as I turn 19, however, I can retake my motorcycle test and ride anything up to 47 brake horsepower that's been restricted, as long as the starting brake horsepower does not exceed 94 brake horsepower. On top of that, if you pass when you're 17, when you turn 19 you've got to do that, and then when you turn 21, if you pass as soon as you turn 19 obviously, basically when you turn 19, if you pass you have to wait 2 years before you can take your full A license, which entitles you to ride anything you want, unrestricted, blah blah blah, you know, all the works. This does mean, however, that if you decided to take your full test as soon as you're able to in every single category, you have to take your full motorcycle test. That's part 1, part 2, or mod 1 and mod 2, which is slow riding and road riding, 3 times in total each. That's 6 tests just to be on a big bike. Now some people argue this is way over the top. I think it's understandable why they do it, because you turn 17, I mean I turned 17, I'm going to go that way. I turned 17, I hopped on a 33 brake horsepower restricted SV650, and I'm not gonna lie, I popped the restrictors out as soon as I could really, and effectively I was then on a full power 650cc bike at the age of 17. Realistically I shouldn't have been, but if I'd have stuck to the law, obviously, basically what happens is, now I would have to pass at 17, still be on a 125, pass again at 19, and then be restricted, and then pass again at 21 and be able to ride what I want. This is, I think, better, because from the time you're 17 to the time you're 19, you will pick up bad habits. All of us do. You cannot, oh no, horses. You cannot avoid picking up bad habits, because you don't have the road experience, you don't have the knowledge or anything like that to be able to, you know, control it otherwise. So I think having that test at 19 is a good thing. And then having it at 21, again, you're going to pick up bad habits. So it's a good way of monitoring and keeping control of these people are not becoming spastics on the road. They're not riding like idiots. They know how to pass a test still. And I think if you're doing it 3 times, you're really enforcing it. You're saying, this is how I'm going to ride. I will ride like this, because this is the standard that I need to be at. Yes, it's expensive, I know. And yes, a lot of people don't really have the sort of dollar to be throwing around like that just to get on a bigger bike, especially since insurance itself is ridiculous now anyway. Tax is tax. And, you know, it's hard enough to be able to afford to be on the road as a young driver / rider anyway, let alone having to shell out 60 quid, no, 75 quid every time you want to take your test. That's like over 200 quid just on tests. And then you want your training as well. It is a lot of money, but it does improve the standard of riding on the road. I personally think that as soon as you turn 17, it should be made compulsory that you have to take your test. Screw the CBT. CBT is for 16-year-olds to be on a little moped. As soon as you want to be on anything larger than that, anything that, you know, you can get on an A road and do a decent speed, I think you should be doing your full test, because effectively you're on the road with, you know, everyone else. So I think by 17 it should be compulsory that you take your test, like once a year maybe, and have it on record. And then at 21 your CBT is just completely, you cannot use a CBT anymore, because, well, no, actually no, 19, you cannot use your CBT anymore after 19. And people are probably going to be thinking, no, that's ridiculous, that means so many people will be off the road. Good. If you are unable to pass your test after training and everything at 19 or 21, you know, whatever, you should not be on the road. A CBT is enough to give you a little bit of experience so that you will then be able to go do some training and pass your test. You should not be on the road if you cannot pass that test. That is the standard that you should be to be on the road. You see so many little shits on 125s, you know, racing up and down high streets. You know, if they get caught, they lose their CBT, and they have to wait a couple of years before they can do it again, and then they're just going to be on a CBT again. They're not going to, you know, it's like 100 quid to do your CBT, it lasts 2 years. What? So what? Their insurance is like nothing, their petrol is nothing, their tax is nothing. It's not like it's much of an expenditure to them. All in all, I feel like the new licensing is a step in the right direction for how it should be. Nice. But I think you should have a free retest when you turn 50 or 60 or somewhere around that, 55, whatever, so that you are then recertified to be on the road. And people are going to be like, oh, but so many old people won't be allowed on the roads. Again, if you cannot pass that test, you shouldn't be on the road, should you? No, the answer is no, you shouldn't. And then if you fail that free retest, you then have to pay for it, because otherwise it's just going to be expensive. But yeah, I think you should have like a year, half a year, whatever it is, from that date that you turn whatever it is, to retake your test. And if you fail, tough shit. Because countless times, old people don't check the mirrors, they don't do their indicators or anything like that. When I was young, we didn't have to worry about little whippersnappers like you on the road. Well, now you do. I'm sorry, but now you do. I think if you use your phone when you're driving, I think it should be an instant 6 points and £1 billion fine, because you're just a complete and total dickhead that has no regard for anyone else on the road. But yeah, back to the whole young person licensing thing. I've got a friend who's passed his test the other day. He's 19. He's going to have to take his test again when he's 21. Now, he failed his test the first time. Not naming any names, Tyler. He failed his test the first time, and because of this, he had to take it again. Now, in 2 years' time, I mean, he's been on the road for 2 years on a CVT. In 2 years' time, what is to say that he doesn't, you know, pick up the same bad habits, and realistically, he would fail his test again. But he didn't. What if he didn't have to take that test again? If he didn't have to take that test again, then there'll be no way of telling whether he's, you know, capable of being on the road. So I think it's a good thing that he has to take his test again. Granted, I think it should be a discounted test and it should be cheaper, but at the same time, I think, you know, he's... Okay, I'm going to call him out here. Tyler, he wasn't the best person on the road before he's done his test and the training. And quite a lot of the time I felt worried for my friend, obviously. In order to, you know, kind of judge whether he's capable of being on the road, the only way you can do that is through a test. So I think, yeah, it's 100% necessary now to have that, especially when so many people are so easily able to be on the road. London and Whitstable M2. Let's go this way. I haven't been on this road yet. Test out my new throttle, shall we? Apparently my throttle's quite good, fast, speedy. Yeah. Anyone with a GSXR 600 K1 to 3 or 750 K1 to 3 or 1000 K1 to 2, if your throttle you feel you have to twist your wrist to get all the way around, or you just want a little bit more poke, I definitely suggest go to a dealer, buy a Yamaha R1 throttle, a 2006 model R1 throttle. It's a slip-on, slip-off job, and my god does it make a difference. Nice big dead fly on my visor again. It's getting to that time of year, isn't it? Which is nice because it means summer's coming. Bike season. That'll do. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I've got a camera down there. You'll have seen some shots of it already down there. But I'm gonna just take a ride back into Canterbury now. So enjoy, listen to the music, chill. Remember to subscribe, like, you know, the usual. Just leave some feedback for me, whatever you want to do. Let me know what you thought. And until next time, guys, see you later.
I can't find my way back to you until you make amends with the demons you've been through. And I can't regret leaving you alone until you find your way back home. Find your way back home.
Back there was vaping. Just a quick side topic. Vaping, I'm sorry, but why? Just why? A person who vapes is statistically, this is fact as well, is statistically 600% more likely to be a hipster dickhead than any other person. And that's from, you know, proper databases and stuff.